is a bit like that one player in rock, paper, scissors, who always seem to know what your next move is. It's frustrating but not unbeatable. On Bato topic, Iwas sa Adik, we will learn to anticipate and counter those moves. This is a place for honest stories and a path towards hope. Join me as we navigate this challenging journey together. Greetings, listener. Ashley Ramillano here, your host for today's podcast episode. Welcome to Bato Topic, Iwas sa Adik. Imagine a future where the youth are trapped, not by natural disasters and physical barriers, but by the suffocating grip of addiction. A future where potential is wasted, lives are shattered, and our communities are weakened. That's the reality we face if we ignore the rising causes of youth drug addiction. This is a direct threat to our collective well being, a challenge to achieving Sustainable Development Goal 3, good health and well being. Today, we're diving deep into this critical issue. We'll explore the root causes, the devastating consequences, and most importantly, the solutions that can empower our youth to break free. We'll be talking about prevention, rehabilitation, and the vital role of community support. We're here to shed light on the darkness and find a path to a healthier, more hopeful future for our young people. Because every life matters and every young person deserves the chance to thrive. Without further ado, let's get started. For today's episode, I am here with Mr. Bruce Santos and Mr. Ken Caballes. Today, we're diving into a crucial issue regarding youth drug abuse. But before we get into the heavy stuff, I want to do a little kumustahan with our guest. Mr. Bruce and Mr. Kent, it's a privilege that you both accepted our invitation to be part of this podcast episode. How are you both feeling today?
Uh, Thank you, Miss Ashley, for asking that. Well, as of right now, I am doing well, although I am definitely concerned about the topic that we're about to discuss. It's a heavy one, you see, but it's quite important to know of. I'm also grateful to Bato Topic Iwas sa Adik for inviting me here today.
That was very well said, Mr. Kent, and I agree with that. Moving on, how about you, Mr. Bruce?
Thank you, Ashley. Today I'm feeling a bit nervous because this is personal for me, and I know it's personal for a lot of people listening out there. And thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate your honesty, Mr. Bruce. We're here to have a real conversation. Now, let's get right into it. The reality is, youth drug abuse in Mindanao is a significant problem. We're seeing alarming trends, and the consequences are far reaching. It's not just about individual lives, it's impacting our environment and even our economy. And of course, it's a direct hit to Sustainable Development Goal 3, good health and well being. From the crowded cities to the remote barangays, no community is immune to this.
I agree with that. When we talk about SDGs, we're talking about a global framework for sustainable development. And SDG 3, in particular, emphasizes ensuring healthy lives and promoting well being for all ages. Understanding the context of these goals is essential in addressing youth drug abuse. It's not an isolated issue, it's an interconnected with poverty, education, and access to healthcare. Among other things, when we ignore social determinants of health, we fail to create sustainable solutions. We must remember the goals are connected, and a failure in one area can negatively impact others.
Exactly, Bruce. And to give you a clearer picture, I've seen how these affects our communities on national television and documentaries. I've seen families torn apart, young people losing their potential, and neighborhoods struggling with the ripple effects of addiction. It's not just about the drugs themselves, it's about the desperation, the lack of opportunities, and the systematic issues that drive young people down this path. The lack of mental health support, the stigma surrounding addiction, and the easy access to substances all contribute to this existential crisis. It is deeply tied to the development of our cities and the national policies that are in place or lacking.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so important to hear those personal insights and knowledge. Mr. Bruce, can you elaborate on how these issues relate to the broader context of the UN SDGs?
Yes, when we look at SDG 3, we see it that it calls for strengthening and prevention and treatment of substance abuse. This aligns directly with what Kent is talking about. And we also need to consider SDG 4, quality education, and SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. If young people have access to education opportunities, they're less likely to turn to drugs. We also have to consider SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Areas with conflicts or weak governments often see an increase in drug trafficking, substance abuse, and it's not just medical treatment, it's about creating environments where young people can thrive.
That's a crucial point, Mr. Bruce. I can see that this issue affects not just SDG 3, but the other goals that are also connected to the problem, as you have said earlier. So it's not just about addressing the addiction itself, but also about addressing the root causes. We need a holistic approach. We need to look at the socio-economic factors, the cultural influences, and the psychological vulnerabilities that contribute to youth drug abuse.
Absolutely. And that's where national policies and local initiatives come in. We need to see more investment in prevention programs, rehabilitation facilities, and community support networks. We need to create a system that empowers young people rather than push them to these margins. We must support local organizations working on the ground, providing counseling, job training, and alternative activities for young people. We need to empower initiatives to address this pressing issue. We also need to ensure that our policies are culturally sensitive and responsive to the specific needs of our communities in Mindanao.
Thank you, Mr. Kent and Mr. Bruce. Your insights were enlightening. Your responses have enlightened many, even including me. Many often overlook these issues, and your knowledge has provided us with a background about this pressing issue. Let's dive deeper into some of those specific programs and initiatives later. Welcome back, everyone. We're continuing our topic about youth drug abuse in Mindanao. And today, we're exploring a critical aspect, the influence of public figures. Joining us is Miss Princess, who's here to shed light on the impact of celebrity drug use in our society and, most importantly, on our youth. Miss Princess, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Miss Ashley, for having me here today. This is such a great opportunity to share my insights about how public figures affect the views of the youth regarding substance abuse, especially illegal drug abuse.
Absolutely. Now we've seen numerous cases of celebrities publicly struggling with substance abuse. How do these incidents shape public perception, especially among young people?
It's a really complex issue. In this case, there is a risk of glamorizing drug abuse, especially when social media platforms are involved. Young people who are highly impressionable might see these figures as role models and mistakenly believe that drug abuse is acceptable or even cool.
You bring up a crucial point about social media. Let's take the case of Baron Geisler. His public struggles with substance abuse have been documented extensively. How has this shaped the discussion around drug use, particularly among youth?
Baron's case is a crucial reminder of the destructive power of addiction, which can even disrupt careers. While some view his journey with empathy, others condemn his actions. For young people, this can be confusing. They see the highs and lows, the public shaming, and the attempts at redemption. It's a chaotic mix of messages. Without proper guidance, it can lead to distorted perceptions. We must also consider the role of cultural norms and peer pressure. In some communities, Substance abuse might be seen as a way to cope with stress or escape difficult realities. When young people see celebrities like Baran engaging in such behavior, it can normalize these actions and make it harder for them to resist peer pressure. Ultimately, Baron Geisler's case highlights the urgent need for comprehensive drug education, accessible mental health services, and strong community support systems, especially in regions like Mindanao. We need to provide young people with the tools and resources they need to make informed choices and build resilience against substance abuse. It's not just about condemning, it's about understanding, educating, and supporting.
What a very good take about his case, Miss Princess. I will take note of all the things you have said, and I hope we can push through those initiatives sooner or later. Moving forward, that brings us to Miss Jody Santa Maria. As we all know, in 2016, the actress Jody Santa Maria revealed her past struggles with drugs, and unfortunately, these led to a surge of misinformation and fake news surrounding her experience. However, she's been very vocal about the dangers of substance abuse, addressing misconceptions about legal versus illegal substances. Ms. Princess, how crucial is it for public figures to disseminate responsible information, especially in a region like Mindanao, where access to reliable information might be limited and where fake news can spread rapidly?
In a place where access to verified information can be challenging, the spread of misinformation, especially concerning sensitive topics like drug abuse, can be devastating. Jody's case highlights the potential for public figures to both a source of misinformation and a source of positive change. The initial misinformation surrounding her past struggles likely created confusion and potentially harmful misconceptions, especially among young people who might be struggling with similar issues. Miss Jody's approach is commendable because it emphasizes the importance of education and awareness, which is crucial where access to comprehensive drug education may be lacking. Many young people don't fully understand the risks associated with even legal substances like alcohol or prescription drugs, and they rely on information from social media or their peers, which may be inaccurate. Celebrities have a platform and are responsible for using it to spread accurate information and promote healthy choices. This directly ties into SDG 3, which emphasizes good health and well being, especially in vulnerable populations like the youth in Mindanao.
Regardless of this, it's important to learn how to identify legal and illegal drugs to avoid misconceptions. Let me ask for your insight into this question. We've established that celebrities have a significant influence on young people. How can these public figures leverage their platforms to effectively educate the youth about the dangers of substance abuse and promote healthy choices aligning with SDG 3?
It's not just about saying drugs are bad, it's about creating meaningful engagement. To start, they need to prioritize authenticity. These public figures can share their personal experiences if they're comfortable talking about them publicly. Just like Miss Jody did, they can partner with local youth organizations, schools, and community leaders to create culturally sensitive campaigns. For example, they could host workshops or online forums where young people can ask questions and share their experiences. They could also use social media to create engaging content that addresses common misconceptions about drugs.
Using social media for positive so using ayo ikata dito na ta. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Using social media for positive impact is a good idea, but how do we perceive these campaigns as helpful and relatable rather than dismissive or out of touch?
It's about empowering young people, not lecturing them. They can highlight stories of resilience and recovery, showcasing individuals who have overcome addiction. They can also promote positive alternatives to drug use, like sports, arts, or community service. This aligns perfectly with SDG 3, which emphasizes promoting healthy lifestyles and mental well being.
Thank you for this insightful perspectives, Miss Princess. It's clear that celebrities have a unique opportunity to make a positive impact. And by working together with communities and experts, we can bridge the gap of these crucial issues. We'll continue this important discussion after a short break. Stay tuned. It seems that the government really has a lot to improve. But do you guys also think that the communities and individuals should also put in the effort in the prevention and mitigation of drug abuse?
I totally agree with your point, Miss Ashley. The government shouldn't be the only one responsible here. The community plays a huge role too. We all need to step up, especially when it comes to preventing drug abuse among the youth. I mean, they say it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yes, I agree with that statement.
Same for me as well, because alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Just like how a listing thing works. One twig alone is weak, but when you tie them together, they become strong and effective. That's how communities should work too, you know? If we all do our part, whether it's spreading awareness, supporting those in recovery, or guiding the youth, we can actually make a difference.
Those are great points that you guys have made. So, how do you think the community can actually help?
Well, for starters, people can get involved by supporting government programs like the BKD and CBDRP. Just like Mr. Kent mentioned earlier, some can volunteer to organize events and seminars for BKD, while others can donate to the CBDRP to improve rehab facilities and support former drug users and their recovery. But more than that, communities need to be informed about drugs, their effects, how to say no when pressured, and what to do if they or someone they know is struggling.
Advocacy is key. It spreads awareness, combats misinformation, and encourages open discussions. Social media can reach thousands of people in seconds, but the real change also come from family conversations, school programs, and community events. Everybody has a role to play, and the more we engage, the stronger our communities become.
Yes, and another thing, these advocacies shouldn't just focus on warning people about drugs. They should also work on breaking the stigma around addiction. People need to see drug addicts as human beings who made bad choices, not as hopeless criminals.
Absolutely. The stigma around addiction is a huge problem. It makes people feel ashamed and stops them from getting the help that they need. Society often labels drug users as failures, but addiction is way more complicated than just making a bad choice. There are so many factors: mental health struggles, trauma, even poverty that can push someone towards substance abuse. That's why we need to change the conversation. Instead of shaming people, we focus on the understanding of their struggles and offering support. The more we talk about addiction in a compassionate way, the more accepting society becomes.
Never the more true. Instead of just punishing drug users, the focus should be on real rehabilitation, offering therapy, life skill training, and strong support systems. Quality rehab programs, along with family counseling, can make recovery more effective and help break the stigma surrounding addiction. When people see it as a treatable condition rather than a shameful failure, they'll be willing to seek more help.
That's right. And beyond rehab, community based support groups, and mentorship programs. These are crucial for both prevention and recovery. These provide emotional support, guidance, and accountability, helping individuals to stay on track. While government policies are important, true progress comes from strong community support, reducing the stigma, lowering the relapse rates, and building a society that uplifts rather than isolates those in need.
We're nearing the end of our discussion, and I want to thank Miss Princess, Mr. Bruce, and Mr. Kent for their incredibly insightful contributions. Before we wrap up, I'd like to give you a chance to summarize the key takeaways and share any final messages. Miss Princess, let's start with you.
Remember, helping young people with drug problems is really important for everyone's health. If our young people are struggling, our whole community suffers. We need to help them have good lives. Addressing youth drug abuse is really crucial in achieving SDG 3's goals of good health and well being. The impact of substance abuse extends beyond individual lives. It affects families, communities, and the overall health of our society.
I agree with that. And building on what Princess said, we must recognize that community support and responsible policies are crucial for a healthier Mindanao. When we invest in prevention programs, rehabilitation centers, and community based initiatives, we're not just helping individuals, but strengthening the entire region. These efforts directly contribute to the well being of our youth and consequently to the progress of the Sustainable Development Goal number 3.
I just want to add that while community support is essential, the government plays a crucial role in ensuring drug prevention and rehabilitation. Efforts are effective that the government must go beyond punishment and address the root cause like poverty education and mental health in drug prevention. Harsh policies create fear, not solutions. Investing in rehab, mental health services, and youth programs is key. A balanced approach, cracking down on suppliers while rehabilitating users, offers real, lasting change.
Thank you for that, for emphasizing that crucial point. Now, as we close, do you have any final messages or practical suggestions for our listeners on how they can contribute to sustainability and support the mitigation of youth drug abuse?
While community action is essential, the real change starts with policies. Prioritizing rehabilitation over punishment, the government needs to ensure that prevention programs, mental health services, and rehab facilities are accessible to everyone, especially with our vulnerable youth. By working together, governments, communities, and individuals, we can build a society that supports recovery and prevents addiction. And that creates better opportunities for young people.
I have many things to say, but first and foremost, educate yourselves and your families. Be aware of the signs of substance abuse and the resources available in your community. Secondly, be mindful of the content you share and consume on social media. Promote positive messages and challenge harmful stereotypes. And lastly, support local organizations that are working to prevent and address youth drug abuse. Volunteer your time, donate resources, or spread awareness about their work. Always remember that every little bit counts.
I would also like to add that we need to advocate for responsible policies at the local and national levels, support initiatives that create opportunities for young people, such as job training, education, and sports programs. Most importantly, foster open and honest conversations with young people. Let them know that you're not alone, that they're not alone, and that help is available. We need to create a culture of empathy and understanding, not judgment and stigma.
Those are incredibly valuable suggestions. Thank you, Miss Princess, Mr. Bruce, and Mr. Kent, for sharing your expertise and passion. Your insights have shed light on the complex challenges facing our youth and the crucial role we all play in creating a healthier, more sustainable Mindanao. We hope this discussion has inspired our listeners to take action and make a positive difference in their communities. Thank you for joining us today. Before we end, I would like to thank our guests for their valuable insights and contributions to this episode. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, every small action can make a big difference. Once again, this is Bato Batopik Iwas sa Adik podcast.